Okay, this is about my brief trip to the Smoky Mountains National Park and maybe some tips. So, because I'm coming in from the west, I stayed at Pigeon Forge primarily because Gatlinburg has been described as a country western bar. So, that's my thing. Although apparently midget wrestling is a thing at Pigeon Forge, which I did not see. But anyway, I stayed there, and I find that if the motel is over $100 or over, they tend to have microwaves. Under, they tend not to have microwaves, but that might be just my experience. And there are definitely some hotels that are under $100 at this point. Gas is actually a little bit cheaper than here in Illinois. But anyway, Gatlinburg bypass is what I took to the Sugarlands Visitor Center. And that is definitely worth visiting if you're, depending on where you're coming from. $15 for the whole week. Parking fee, there is not an entrance fee. $15 seems very reasonable. I think it's $5 for one day, but 15 is perfectly fine. And what I did was then I came down through here, Chimney Tops Trail. The thing is, the Sugarlands has reception for GPS and email and stuff like that. And the higher elevations here, Kawolfi Trail, and then the Newfound Gap Trail had reception. Everything else was just dead. So keep that in mind. So what I did is I took this, and there's plenty of little turnouts here that you can park. And if you don't have a parking pass, you get fined, by the way. If although I didn't really see a lot of rangers, but anywho, plenty of places to park and leave, go down a little trail and look at the plants. And people don't do that. They go to the big places to hike up to the mountain and look over the countryside, which, you know, as someone from Oregon and spent some time in Colorado, it's pretty much all green mountains. So not that it isn't pretty, but plants are why I'm there. So anyway, lots of interesting little places along here. And then Chimney Tops, the top is closed, but and it's the last like quarter mile. That's the worst part. But there are plenty of interesting plants there, and it's been rebuilt, and it's a very nice things going on. Alum Cave was completely packed. The first day I was there, that was the sunny day. The second day, it was just raining buckets. I actually kind of soaked through my raincoat. And so I skipped that the first day. I explored it a little bit the second day. And then again, some lovely areas to pull over and look at the plants. Newfound Gap, again, that's when I could get emails and send messages again. And that has a couple of areas, and that has some spruce and ABs. So kind of high-ish elevation, 5,000 feet. Then I took this one down here to the Kawolfi Visitor Center, which is tiny. Has a lot of the same things that Sugarland has. And let's see, there's a trail to the lookout that is kind of steep-ish. So, but it is paved and all. But again, it depends on what you're looking for. I'm looking for the plants, looking at the plants and so forth. So there are some great areas that you can pull over right here. This is actually a ridge. You can see some great areas you can pull over and look at the plants at. And so this area is pretty high up, let's say 5,000 to 6,000 feet. So this was about 2 months, 1 to 2 months behind all the wildflowers down here. So things that I was missing, that were missing up here, like the trilliums, erectums, and whatnot, were completely finished blooming here. Here they were at their peak. So that's interesting. Right there. So what else? Spruce Fir Trail I went on, and that was just pouring down rain, but some very nice things going on, and like that. So, but again, what I did was only this part, not even that part, and the park is a lot bigger, certainly. So, yeah, I keep everything charged up, and I'm a little bit concerned about the reception, but I'm not quite sure how they can overcome that. So just be aware. Everything has signs on it. I didn't really get lost or anything like that. I do like to use GPS to get places, and you know, if I was at a particular site, I like to record that in some way or another. So, and the Appalachian Trail goes down through the middle, so you see a little bit of that. So anyway, there's some thoughts.